Right, I'm Raymond Auerbach, Professor of Soil Science and Plant Production here at Nelson Mandela Metropolitan University's George campus. We are based on the foothills of the Outeniqua Mountains, and we are located in the middle of an indigenous forest. So it's a beautiful place to work, and the natural resources are really in need of careful stewardship, but they provide a wonderful opportunity in our School of Natural Resource Management for students of conservation, agriculture and forestry to really look at how resources can be used sustainably. So within our agricultural management program, we've been quite concerned because we don't have very much in the way of practical resources to look at how people can actually make compost, look after the soil, plant plants for practical purposes. And we also are starting a postgraduate certificate in education next year where we'll be training agricultural science and agricultural management teachers. And so they, as well as our agricultural management students, will now use the Permaculture Center. And the Permaculture Center has been designed with 5 objectives in mind. First of all, we are using the resources that we have, so we catch the water in the roof of the Permaculture Center and the nearby Pampunkral building, and we store our water up. Secondly, we harvest the sun and use the sun to pump the water from the one tank to the other and to use for irrigation pumps. Thirdly, we have some unwanted guests around in the forest, which are the baboons. So we have to have a structure which is baboon-proof, and we've taken a 4th precaution to use our new solar-powered electric fence unit to make sure the baboons don't come in. And then the 5th thing is that being like any institution which has grass that needs cutting, we've got all of that grass available, and we use that as part of our compost making process. We also use the hostel waste, the food waste from the hostel kitchens. That goes through our little worm farm, which we'll show you later. And the worm farm is a way of processing the cooked food into a high quality compost, whereas the grass with a little bit of manure or nitrogen rich substances turns into pure plant food. You can see some slides of the United States Department of Agriculture. Here's a slide that shows that over the last 50 years, the amount of nutrient in the food has really gone downhill, and in these 43 vegetable varieties, the protein and the minerals as well as the vitamins are much less than what they used to be. And here's another slide which shows the chemical composition, and you can see that the conventional has a great deal of more poison in it than the organic. Firstly, the mothers don't want a risk of having chemicals in the food for their children. And secondly, the fact that the nutritional value is higher is a very important part of making sure that we don't all get fat. The obesity pandemic is a result of the fact that we've got more and more industrial food being produced with low levels of vitamins and protein and higher levels of calories. If we hype our children up on sweet soda drinks and on processed foods with fats in them, we know that it leads to antisocial behavior, and we'd far rather see healthy food providing healthy bodies and allowing healthy minds to develop. So that gives an overview of why we're looking at agroecology in our program here at Saasveld. And we have looked at the water efficiency as a major part of what has to happen in our research. We'll have a bit of a look at the site where the comparative research trials are going to be set up. The comparative research trials will compare organic agricultural systems with conventional agricultural systems. We'll have a rotation of 4 crops where we start off with a heavy feeder, which will be cabbage. It will have compost before we plant the cabbage. After the cabbage is harvested, the second crop will be a light feeder, which will be sweet potatoes, which is an African indigenous crop. Once we've harvested the sweet potatoes, which will have no compost given to them, we'll then put in cowpeas, which is another indigenous legume, or when we're planting in winter, we'll be putting in peas, conventional green peas. And both of these are legumes, so they add nitrogen to the soil. And then after the 3 crops of heavy feeder, light feeder and legume, we'll have a cover crop of oats and ceradella, which will bring organic matter into the soil.